Welcome back to LVMTG. Today we've got a quick Commander deck tech on Myrkul, Lord of Bones. Let's dive in. Myrkul is a legendary creature god for 4 white, black, green. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, Myrkul is indestructible. However, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's an enchantment and loses all other card types. So this deck is a Abzan Enchantress deck, as well as an Abzan Aristocrats deck. Let me show you what kind of cards go great with this game plan. Our first category is Gain and Drain. We've got some creatures that are going to gain us life, as well as creatures that are going to take life away from our opponents. Some great examples of the gain side are Soul Warden, but you do have some other Soul Warden type effects shown here. Now as to our drain effects, we do have a couple such as Cruel Celebrant. And we have a few others that are very similar, shown right here. Another great option is Sir Conrad the Grim for that drain effect. We do need a few ways for our creatures to hit the graveyard, so we can turn them into those harder to remove enchantments with Myrkul's ability. That's where the sacrifice outlets come into play. A great option is Phyrexian Altar. I know it's not budget, but I tell you, it puts in work. However, we do have some other great options listed on screen. Since Myrkul is going to turn all of our creatures into enchantments, we might as well take advantage of all those enchantments entering the battlefield. Great example is Eidolon of Blossoms. This card has Constellation. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. You're going to draw a card every time a creature dies and is exiled and then turned into an enchantment token. Beware, typical Enchantress effects require you to cast the enchantment. So look out for cards like Eidolon of Blossoms or these other great options. Since we are going to be making a ton of enchantments with Myrkul, might as well have some other abilities that take advantage of a large enchantment presence on the board. A great example is Sanctum Weaver. So Sanctum Weaver is going to tap to add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of enchantments you control, and it's also an enchantment itself. So be prepared to make a ton of mana with this card. You mentioned Constellation is a great effect. I have another creature with a very unique Constellation effect. That is Underworld Coinsmith. So Underworld Coinsmith is also an enchantment creature, and it has Constellation. Whenever Underworld Coinsmith or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. On top of that, you can pay white-black, pay a life, and each opponent loses a life. This one right here is also going to work with our enchantment and our gain and drain game plan. Since our creatures get a second life with Myrkul, we need creatures with some great abilities that doesn't matter whether they are a creature or not. Some of my favorites are the tap to destroy target creature abilities. One of my favorites is Royal Assassin. So you can tap it to destroy a target tapped creature. So the great thing with them coming back as enchantments, they won't have summoning sickness, and they'll get us 2 kills in 1 turn. But here are some other great examples that I like in this style of deck. Speaking of tap abilities, we've got a ton of mana dorks in this style of deck. For one, my favorite is Devoted Druid. So Devoted Druid taps for a green, however put a -1/-1 counter on Devoted Druid to untap it. As a creature, this will kill it, but as an enchantment, -1/-1 counters have no effect, and that will generate us infinite green mana. However, these other mana dorks are quite effective in this style of deck as well. Thanks for tuning in to this short deck tech on Myrkul, Lord of Bones. Hopefully it inspires you to create your very own Myrkul deck. Let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe so you don't miss out on my latest deck techs. In the meantime, take care and bye-bye.